Would you, yes you, like to travel for free? Okay, no, wait, wrong video. But if you'd like me to make a separate video on ways you could travel for free, comment "travel is my hobby" in the comment section down below. Now, this video is not about traveling for free, but it's about extremely cheap countries to travel to in 2023. Yup, this year. With inflation rates going up, living expenses on the rise, the economy going on another downhill spiral, and my man Hasbullah still banned on TikTok, you're probably asking yourself, how can I travel during these times? No worries, I got you covered. But before we get this video going, show some love by subscribing to my channel and hitting that like button 3 times. And if you want to show love even further, comment after watching this video the top countries you'd like to visit from the list for the year. Now, one thing to remember is that you can make a lot of countries budget friendly depending on how creative you're willing to get. There are also common practices to lower your budget no matter where you are, such as staying in hostel dorms, eating street food, bargaining, finding maximum deposits for best rates at ATM machines, and so forth. I'll be discussing all of these and more in another video, so make sure you subscribe to my channel to see it when the video goes live. With that said, the countries on this list just makes it that much more budget friendly. The cost of food, accommodation, transportation, and activities can amount to anywhere between $30 to $50 per day. I'll focus mainly on these categories: the accommodations, transportation, food, and some of the main common activities in the country, as everyone has different preferences and tastes when it comes to activities they like to do, so this varies quite a bit. Also, the budget I'm about to show you is merely a guideline. Let me repeat, it is merely a guideline, and it may not be for everyone. Some may need to spend more, or some will probably spend less. This is also a backpacker budget, meaning hostels for accommodation, street food, slow travel, not taking flights from city to city, and so forth. In addition, if you're the type who likes to party or drink, then obviously you'll be spending so much more on activities, and the activities are also in this case spread out, as there may be days when you're not doing an activity, but the day you do an activity is spread out evenly through the days you're not, if that even makes sense. So without further ado, here are extremely cheap countries to travel to in 2023. I've been to Cambodia 3 times now, and believe it or not, I see myself going back there again for the 4th time. Cambodia is that beautiful, and on top of that, it is inexpensive. From the beautiful islands, less touristy than its neighboring country, Thailand. They also have jaw-dropping temples. One of the 7 wonders of the world, Angkor Wat, is a major attraction and a must-see in Cambodia. The country is also rich in history and offers a ton of unique activities, such as riding the bamboo train in Battambang. In Cambodia, look to spend about $8 to $10 on accommodation, $10 on street food. Transportation, it'll cost you about $9 per day. If you rent bikes within the city, obviously within cycling distance of your destination, you could even further reduce your costs. The activities cost roughly around $10 to $15, which sums up to about $44 per day. If this is your first time traveling or traveling solo, Thailand is the best option for you to test out the waters. This country welcomes tourists with open arms. Though overrun by many foreigners, it is still a vibrant and amazing country to travel to. Up north, you've got a more laid-back, lush area, and down south is where the islands and the vibrant nightlife takes place. Thailand has plenty of temples, spectacular viewpoints, elephant sanctuaries, plenty of entertainment from fire shows to ladyboys, and great water activities for those looking to dive or simply snorkel. This is a country that just has something for everyone, and all sorts of travelers from shoestring backpackers to luxurious honeymooners come here. Look to spend about $8 to $15 on accommodation. As for street food, pad thai would be your best bet. It's something that you would probably have every day. I know I did. And look to spend about $5 to $10. For transportation, it's $10, and activities, you're looking at about $15 per day, which brings you to about $50 per day. Next to Nepal, this is one of my favorite countries that I've ever traveled to. A country that's very diverse, that is appealing to anyone. I thought spending a month here would be enough, being that it's a small country, but that was not enough. There were a lot of things to do and places to see, from the beautiful temples, sacred mountains. Also, they have amazing food, an endless amount of outdoor activities to choose from, very welcoming locals, a wide variety of beaches, and the lush landscape. Sri Lanka has got all of this and so much more. There's been a lot of developments here as tourism tourism picks up, so I highly suggest seeing Sri Lanka now before it gets overcrowded and touristy. I mean, it already had started to do just that over the past year because of social media. Also, as a side note, the transportation here plays a huge role when traveling in the country, as it is easy to use for tourists and extremely cheap. When I was here, the tickets to local trains from one city to another was way cheaper than the cost of taking a 15-minute train ride in Canada. As for accommodation and food, look to spend about $10 a piece, and Sri Lanka has amazing food, but make sure you try this traditional dish that you can get in any restaurant here in Sri Lanka, and that's the kotu. For transportation, look to spend about $5, and for activities, look to spend about $14, which brings you to $39 per day. Just like Sri Lanka, tourism is expected to grow drastically here, though foot traffic have increased over the past 5 to 7 years, and it's become a favorite by a lot of travelers in Central America. Hiking and surfing are your top activities here, a country with 19 active volcanoes containing the largest rainforest outside of the Amazon and the largest lake in Central America. Not to mention, it's hugged by the beautiful waters of the Caribbean Sea. Nicaragua is often referred to as the land of lakes and volcanoes. Many are saying Nicaragua might potentially be the next Costa Rica because of its natural beauty, and if you've been to Costa Rica, you know what I'm talking about. So it's better to go to Nicaragua now before it gets overpriced and overcrowded with tourists. For accommodation and food, look to spend about $10 each, and then for transportation, $5, and for activities, it's $7, bringing you a total of $32 per day. Vietnam is a massive country with a lot of hidden gems. I spent 30 days here and it wasn't enough. A country with amazing landscapes, a variety of outdoor activities, historical sites, delicious food, and well, scooters. A lot of scooters. Vietnam may look small on the map, but this long strip is massive, with a lot of worthy stops from one to the next. For those with only several weeks to spend here, I would highly recommend just picking one part, either the north or the south. Don't rush it, as it won't be as fun. If I had to pick one between the two, it would be the north, but this is all up to you and based on preference. I say the north because of the mountains and the lush greenery the country has up there. If you were going to do the whole country, or if you're the adventurous type, buy a motorcycle to get around, assuming you know how to ride one or even feel comfortable riding one. This will further reduce your transportation costs, as many will start from one end buying a motorcycle, then selling it when they finish on the other end, which most of the time should break you even, or sometimes even make a bit of profit if you know how to sell. For accommodation, look to spend about $8 to $10, and then for food, $10, transportation, $8, and for activities, $10, bringing you a total of $38. Honduras is known for amazing waters of the Bay Islands on the Caribbean Sea, a hotspot for divers. Another famous attraction here is the ancient Mayan ceremonial site Copan. Many travelers roaming in Central America have the tendency to skip Honduras and El Salvador for a variety of reasons. San Pedro Sula in Honduras is a city with one of the highest crime rates in the world, and people ask themselves if it really is worth visiting. The places with attractions are safe, and if you stick to these locations, you should be fine. I don't think Honduras is a country where you should go off the beaten path though, as this is the time where it may potentially be dangerous. That said, I've had nothing but positive experiences in this country. Look to spend about $15 on accommodation. It's a bit more expensive than what I've listed so far, but you are closer to the water, so hence the prices are a bit more expensive on accommodations. For food, look to spend about $10. Transportation, it's $15, and activities, it's $7, bringing you a total of $47 per day. Laos, the more tamed and laid-back country compared to its neighboring country, Thailand. It's quite peaceful here, though there are several spots where you could party it up if that's your thing. You could go tubing down a river while making stops at different bars. This country offers beautiful landscapes, the sounds and sights of the hustle and bustle of the city, and many quiet getaways that you shouldn't miss. What really stood out for me when I was here was the natural beauty of the country and the very friendly people living in it. The accommodation will set you back $7 to $10. For food, $10. Transportation, $5, activities, $8, bringing you a total of $33 per day. A fairy tale is what I would describe this country best, especially with its well-known capital city, Prague. A top destination for tourists to see 9th century Gothic and Baroque style architecture. Here you will find Prague Castle and probably one of the most photographed sites in the country, Charles Bridge. There are also a lot of free walking tours in the city, which is a great way to get to know the city and the country while reducing your activity costs. For accommodation and food here, look to spend about $15 each, transportation $10, activities $5, for a total of $45. Home to many volcanoes, rainforests, lakes, colonial buildings, and the Mayan ruins, Guatemala is a vibrant country just waiting to be explored. A must visit if you're in Central America. Although the country continues to struggle with a steady incline rate of poverty, crime, and drug trade, this unstable country, as what many may perceive, is a place where so much beauty is just waiting to be discovered. For accommodation, it's $15. For food, it's $10. Transportation, $7. And activities, it's $10, bringing you a total of $42 US. Paradise. That's the first word that comes to my mind if you ask me how to describe this country. If you've seen my pictures from the Philippines or just any for that matter on social media and haven't been to the country, let me tell you that it is what you see in the pictures, if not better. The pictures are not photoshopped at all. White sand, clear waters, it's an absolute paradise. With over 7,000 islands and more being discovered as we speak, there's plenty of room to adventure and a lot of islands to explore. But where do you even start? Well, there's Palawan and Cebu for starters. Combine the tropical vibes with the amazing food, beautiful viewpoints, and friendly locals. What more could you ask for? And again, just because you're in the water, the accommodation is just a bit higher. It's at $15. For food, look to spend about $10 to $15. For transportation and activities, it's about $10 each. So look to spend about $50 US per day. Let's start with the not so obvious. What many people don't know about this country, myself included prior to traveling here, is that there are a lot of inventors and inventions that came out of the country, from automobiles, technology, medicine, and equipment, just to name a few. And the Hungarians show no signs of slowing down, as there are still inventions coming out of the country as of late. Budapest is the capital of Hungary. It's not pronounced Budapest, it's Budapest, a city considered to be the most attractive spot in the country for tourists to visit. Split by the river, the city's impressive landmarks, delicious food, nightlife, and the ever so relaxing thermal baths would make the city appealing to many. Just like Czech Republic, Hungary is a budget-friendly country for European standards, making it that much more attractive to visit. So for accommodation, you're looking to spend about $10, and for food, it's about $10 to $15. Transportation is $5. Activities at $7, bringing you a total of $37 US. Beautiful islands, amazing art, rainforests, architecture, and delicious food. Malaysia is an extremely diverse country in Asia with a Chinese, Indian, and European cultural influence. Yeah, it is that diverse, giving that hybrid feel to it. Look to spend about $10 to $15 on accommodation. For food, it's $15. Transportation is $5. And for activities, it's $7, bringing you a total of $42 US per day. And that's it for this video, but before you go, comment down below which of these countries you'd travel to if you had the choice, and then subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so yet. Give this video a like and send it to someone who needs to see this. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.